All right. Testing. Gonna check my phone and make sure this is working. Yes, live. All right, we're good. Okay. Hello, people of YouTube. Welcome back to Farmer Traders. I made a new list, or a new, whatchamacallit, this layout. I made a new layout specifically for the live stream. Let's see, in TradingView you can have multiple layouts, so each layout's basically a fresh blank slate for all your charts. All your watch lists will be the same, but there'll be no trend lines or anything on it. Just starts from scratch. So it's helpful if you want to get kind of a fresh perspective on your charts. So I figured I would just start a new one for you guys, and maybe we can walk through a little bit of TA on Bitcoin, kind of from scratch. So the default TradingView layout gives you the volume indicator here at the bottom. If you don't know, volume, I believe this is what volume is at least. Volume is, I believe, the amount of shares that are traded within a given session. So if you're on the 8-hour time frame, then each candle is of course an 8-hour candle, and then your volume is the, at least I suppose on this exchange, it's probably different it's probably based on each exchange. Yeah, you see the volumes change pretty significantly. The overall trend's the same, but yeah, the volume on that exchange is represented by this bar. I don't think that the actual dollar value of volume is represented. It's just more relative. So, this bar versus this bar, this bar is roughly a little more than 2 times this bar. So that means that the price was, or the volume was more than double what the volume on this 8-hour session was. So session volume, I don't really know how to use it for trading. I mean, I get the idea. It's like, okay, there's a lot of shares or a lot of coins, being exchanged in this session here, but I haven't really formulated a thesis or anything on how to use that in my charting. So I tend to just either hide or remove this completely, but I'm gonna just hide it. I'll leave it. It's helpful. Or I think it's something that I want to start using more, trying to understand how to use it. So we can leave it just hidden though, because it kind of gets in the way of trending, drawing your trend lines. But yeah, so here's Bitcoin, 8-hour time frame. Let's go ahead and zoom out. So when I want to get a fresh perspective, or when I'm looking at a new chart, the workflow I've kind of developed is to start high time frame and then sort of work my way down to the lower time frames. And if I'm considering trading, which I've only made a handful of trades in my life, but if I'm considering trading, I try to make my trades on the 8-hour time frame, mainly because that's where I see myself trading in the future once I really make this my full-time, gig. I don't want to trade on low time frames. From what I've learned, people who trade on anything less than 4 hours are staring at screens all day long, and I don't want to do that. So I'd like to trade on the 8, maybe the 4 hour, but 8 and above is really what I want to focus on. If you're trading on the 1 hour, then you're looking at entries that you're going to exit within a scale of a day, or maybe a couple days if you're looking at the hourly. So if you would have caught a trade here, you know, you might be exiting here. So that's, you know, 22nd of June to 23rd of June. So it's within 24 hours, but, you know, you're trying to find those tops within, you know, the scale of hours. Whereas if you're on the 8 hour, you're trying to find tops within the scale of a third of a day. So you can enter here the 8th of June and then exit somewhere here the 15th of June. So that's like a week. So you get a lot more time, and you really only have to, you know, your candles are only going to be closing every 8 hours, whereas, you know, 1 hour, your candles are closing every hour. So you're constantly getting data, but you got to analyze that data, you know, every hour, and I don't want to do that. So, you know, with the 8 hour, you can look at it at the first 8 hour of the day closes, I think, at 8 a.m. and then 4 p.m. and no, that's not correct. It's 8 p.m. was when the last one closed. So 8 p.m. And then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m. and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 p.m. So noon, 8, and 4 a.m. is when the 8 hour closes. So you wake up in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock, you can see, okay, the 8 hour is closed. And then at noon, you can see it close again, and then in the evening, you can see another close. And so you get your data that way. You know, really only have to look at the chart at most 3 times a day. Since I'm new to this, you know, I'm still constantly looking at charts all day long, just trying to get as much exposure as I can, and I'll zoom in. You know, I'm always looking at the lower time frames, just trying to see, okay, where's price going to go in the short term, all right, and then, you know, kind of zoom back out and, you know, kind of look at things. I'm constantly just zooming in and out, in and out, in and out. I should probably stop that. Honestly, I should probably just really stick to the 4 hour at minimum. Maybe going to the 2 or 1 hour, but I need to get off these low time frames because they just don't help. You know, if you're trying to nail an entry, like just nail it in the moment, you know, you want to go long for an 8 hour, you know, type of swing trade over the course of a few days, but you just want to just nail that entry. You know, you can look at those lower time frames. I've heard people say they do that. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of side with Jordan Lindsay, who I've learned from. It's the least amount of stress and work. Just sticking to the 8 hour and then maybe 4 hour to get entries, you know. So yeah, here's Bitcoin on the 8 hour. So let's zoom out, as I said a moment ago. Look at the weekly. Sometimes even on the weekly, I'll go to log scale, but that's more if I'm doing a macro type of analysis, trying to, you know, something I try to look at occasionally is, you know, where's Bitcoin going in the long run? You know, in the long term, I'll zoom way out on the weekly, and, you know, you get your price starts, you know, all the way back here in 2011, and then up to today. You can start doing a little bit of charting on the log scale. I would not advise trading around log scale charts. You know, if you're going to trade, you should look at the, you know, linear scale, but you can get an idea of just the overall overarching picture where Bitcoin's headed. And overall, Bitcoin's headed up fast. At least, you know, maybe not fast in the sense of days, but you know, you could reasonably conclude that by 2023, Bitcoin will be at least at $100,000. You know, if you bought Bitcoin today and held it for 2 more years, you would triple your money. I think very, you know, likely, if not more. So just based on this trend line alone, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to stay above this for a good while longer. It's held it since, you know, 2013, broke down once in March of 2020 when everything broke down, and then came right back up in March, you know, within the span of a couple weeks, busted right back out, or in April. So, you know, we're not going to go below this anytime soon, in my opinion. So yeah, But let's zoom back in on the linear scale. We'll start with the weekly, and something I've been practicing a lot, linear scale, is trying to set open and closed levels, or horizontal levels. These kind of give you an idea of ranges that Bitcoin or anything you're looking at is trading within, and you tend to set these, at the top or bottom of a candle, not the wick, but the body of the candle. So I don't really have a rhyme or reason for this. I haven't really developed, a very clear system. I know that Heath from Trade Talk, one of the guys at the Conquer Trading and Investing community, really, very, very good trader. I think what he does is he sets levels at the bottom of red candles, which this isn't a red candle, but down candles at the bottom of down candles, or at the top of up candles. And that's where he gets his levels he trades off of. And then I kind of tend to look also at like peaks and valleys, like this is bottom of a down candle, but I would say that this one's more significant because you had another lower low. So these reversal points, I think, is where you get more resistance and support versus just like in between candles. So like this looks like a pretty significant area of resistance. This is probably a pretty significant area of resistance. And yeah, really no reversal support, on the way down. Here it's all just up, 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 which is scary because we are now coming into this last significant area of support. And then where do we go from here? A lot of people are calling for 20,000, and that's probably because the last reversal is all the way down here at 19. So yeah, I mean, if we really significantly break down to here, we'd probably interact with that. We'd probably interact with that. But, wouldn't surprise me if we come all the way down 20,000. So that could be what we're looking at. I'm hoping for it. We get some cheap Bitcoin at that point, at that price. I started buying Bitcoin like here, December, into December, like right around $33,000. I've never had a chance to buy below that, so if we get some cheap Bitcoin, I won't complain. My portfolio is going to be completely ripped in half for that time being, but who cares? It's going back up. You can count on it. Not financial advice. Don't listen to me, or you'll get poor. You'll make yourself poor. So, all right, let's put in some levels. So we got one here. It's totally preference how you want it. Trading view, you can change the thickness of your lines, the colors. Some people like to make, if the lines support, they like to make it green. If it's resistance, they like to make it red. I tend to just stick with all black, and then sometimes if I'm getting really nitty gritty, I'll flip the colors and change the thicknesses. If I really want to highlight that I think there's something strong, resistance or support, I might make it thicker, to indicate stronger. You can play with the transparency to make it a little thinner, or lighter or darker. That's all up to you. I'm just going to stick with 1 pixel black for now. We'll see what we get with that. So we got a reversal support and a reversal, or resistance and reversal resistance here. Things that always trip me up is when you get something like this, where okay, the level is here based on this candle close, but then there's one right above it on this one, and I'm always like, should I draw another one here? It's so close to this one. It's something I'm still trying to figure out, which one's more significant? Are they both significant? Is this one more significant because it's earlier? In the price action, it's been around longer. That's, I guess, my answer to that question right now is, okay, what's happening on lower time frames around that line? Am I getting more touches on this one or more touches on this one? So let's draw them both in and let's take a look at that. Let's see if I drew a line. Well, it would only be relevant here. It wouldn't be relevant back here, but let's put it here anyway. Maybe, actually, no, I can't say that. It might be. So yeah, we've got our lines here and our line here. Now let's zoom in on the daily and see. Okay, so this upper one, even though it's based on the weekly close over here, kind of has, you know, some supply over here, a little bit here, kind of broke through it here. It's got a little supply around here. So yeah, you know, I would even consider just, even though it's not directly on the weekly close, just scoot it up a little bit to match those. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty good. That's really good. That's a line the market respects, you know, right there. Touch, 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 almost perfectly on every candle close. And then you got wicks going through it all over the place, which is always good. I think more significant is the bodies. You know, if the body touches it, and the open and close is right on the line, then you know that the market's looking at that line. When the wick is, you know, just tapping it, the market's looking at that line. If it's going halfway through the wick, I tend to question it a little bit. If you want to get a little more clarity, you can zoom in even further, and you can see here, you know, like poof, 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 it went up through it, back down, like reject, 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 rejected. Yeah, that's a pretty significant line of resistance. It's going to be, you know, we came up above it briefly and a couple weeks ago, and went right back down below it. So yeah, I'd say both of these lines are pretty important, even though they're so close together. It's just indicative of really strong resistance between both these lines. So you could just put maybe, I don't know, yeah, color them the same thing. Maybe let's color them both red because they're resistance right now. So once we get back above them and, you know, get a couple dailies or a weekly close above these two lines, then that's going to be a really, you know, good sign of strength of Bitcoin. We did get above it. We first broke below these lines in May during the death candle here, as I call it. And, you know, had your automatic rally back above it, but for a very short amount of time. Yeah. Liquidation, automatic rally, more liquidation, more rally, more liquidation, more rally. And then, yeah, started just getting boom, rejected, oh, broke out, boom, rejected. So, yeah, we need to get back above these two lines before the market's gonna really show a significant turnaround. So, yeah, and then look at this. Look at this other one we drew, this weekly. Look where we're at now. It's acted as pretty significant support. You know, we've all these crazy monkeys out there trading on excess leverage is why we get these wicks, in my opinion. But you know, we pop right back above it every time we dip into this line. We shoot back above it, dip into it, shoot back above it. We're dipping into it again right now. Let's see if we shoot back above it. But it's scary the fact that we keep going into it though. Like, why can't we get out of this? And my answer would be institutions. You know, big money out there is really trying to keep price below 40. They don't want to get above it because they're accumulating right now. They like this price. I don't know what's keeping it above. Who's keeping it above this line? You know, that's an interesting question to me. Like, who's out there buying up everything? Is it just retail with deep pockets? Or is it other institutions? Are they fighting here? I don't know. I have a gut feeling that some big players out there, governments maybe even want to just short it to the grave. You know, all the way down to probably they'd like to get it to 20 probably. You know, like look what we were saying before, 20,000. Look at these reversals. You know, right there. That's your next leg down, right at 20. Yeah, if we really break down, that's where we're going most likely, guys. Right there. Let's make that dark green. 4 pixels. That's it. That's the level. So you can even see when we busted out of that, we went up hard. So this is going to be significant. I mean, it actually was never. It's never been tested. It's never been tested. This level, 20 right at 20,000, it has never been retested. The market's begging for a retest of that line. I really hope it does. That would be epic. That could be the spring that launches us back above this. Yeah, we'll see. We might be doing it. We might be going there. So anyway, those are probably the only significant weekly levels to look at. And look at that, beautiful. It's right at that weekly reversal we were talking at. I didn't even draw that looking at the weekly chart, but that's exactly where it's at. The consistency just, it blows my mind. Looking at these things, technical analysis, when you first start learning it, it feels like voodoo magic, but it really works. These lines are magical. It's epic. Yeah, I don't see any other more significant weeklies. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one's probably pretty significant. Let's draw one right here. It's a reversal. Ooh, let's go back to black and 1 pixel. Yeah. Yep. Then from there, I'll start zooming in. 3-day and 2-day are time frames I see a lot of people using. I started looking at them. 3 days kind of helpful a little bit, but I tend to just jump straight down to the 1 day. But let's look at the 3-day. 2-day I've never used. I just put it in here a couple of days ago because someone I saw on Twitter was using the 2-day. I was like, it's weird. I've never seen anyone use the 2-day before. I don't know if it helps them. That's cool. All right, but yeah, looking at the 3-day, you might get a little more, a bit more clarity here. You could probably draw a line at this reversal. More resistance here at this reversal probably. Even more resistance in this area. It's gonna be hard to get above this. Let's draw this one red also because I just think it correlates with these two. Red, but maybe a little lighter resistance. The really tough ones are going to be these two because they're based around the weeklies. But then we got 3 days, and then just above it you got this one too. So let's just scoot it up to touch those two because these are more recent, and then at least you're getting the wicks on them on these two candles. So I tend to think the market respects more recent open and closes more so than older open and closes. I could be wrong with that, I don't know, but it just seems likely to me because everyone's looking at the most recent price action to determine where the price is going next. So yeah, they're looking back here to inform themselves too. I'm sure at least the pros are, but I know all these leverage monkeys out there are I don't know what they're doing, but it seems like to me that the most recent action is going to drive short-term decisions more. Long-term investors are looking more at the swing traders and everything are looking more at the bigger picture. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't see much of value looking at levels up here right now because we're nowhere close to that. This would be the area I would look to be at drawing in levels if I was going to be trading, once price gets up here, obviously. We can you can kind of try to figure out, you know, what's your next major resistance going to be once you get out of this, you know, hole that we're in, which I would say is probably right about there, 46,000. Got a reversal here, breakout. Yeah, this candle. Yeah, I'd say once you get back to the top of that candle, you know, you're looking at a lot of resistance. This is the Elon candle, by the way. The biggest candle on the whole chart, except maybe this one. I'm not sure which one's bigger. But yeah, this was the day that Tesla announced that they were investing $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. And I went on a run that morning and price was here, and I got back from my run 30 minutes later and price was here. It was amazing. Within an hour it went up, you know, like $8,000 or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty wild. So let's zoom in a little further, maybe see what other levels that we're looking at. As far as swing trading goes though, this is probably all you need. You know, I know a lot of people are looking to go long here. A lot of people were looking to go long. Well, let's zoom in a little more. Maybe not at that level. Skip the 2-day for now. So I know some guys on Twitter were looking at around 31 to the 32 range. Brandon, Crypto Trades and Tech, was looking, I think he said from like 31 to 32 he had levels, or he had orders. I don't really know where he's getting those levels from, because I don't really see that. I see the 31.5. I mean, that's just based on where we reversed at on the 21st. We'll draw that in. Let's make that black. And that doesn't really go back that far. Not much interaction back here. I mean, we get some wicks. We can, you know what, why not? Yeah, you get a little bit of interaction back here. Maybe on the 8 hour, you get some more definitive. Yeah, look at that. Boom, reversal right on that line. Yeah, that's a pretty significant line. That's probably where he was looking at that level. Yeah, we bounced on it pretty hard. Wicked out down below it very briefly. I came right back. So honestly, this is probably not the worst idea to go long here. You know, set your stop loss. I don't know. I'm not good at setting stop losses. Maybe here at these wicks, you know, you'd set a stop loss there. Go long to maybe this resistance. You know, you take half your profits there. Maybe break even at that point. What would that be? What would that be? Where am I looking? Long position. So you enter now. You go long to here. Set your stop loss at the wick here. That's pretty good, you know. You're making 20%, you can't beat that. If you leverage 5x, you made 100%. Yeah, just on a 5x trade, you would if you leveraged 5x, no, let's say if you leveraged 10x from entering right now, leverage 10x, then you could take, that would be 200% profit at 10x leverage. So you could take half of your profit and then, you know, make back your initial and then raise your stop loss to maybe right about there and try to, you know, ride it the rest of the way. See however high it goes, probably to here. It's probably a good trade. I might do that. But I'm not convinced that I'm not going to take that trade. I'm going to wait. But yeah, because I'm not convinced that price is going to make it out of here this weekend. Taking a look at short interest, this is This is a chart showing you how much money is being put on shorting Bitcoin right now. So people, they short an asset, they're borrowing that asset and then selling it to buy it back at a lower price, so that way they can keep the difference, because when they buy it back at a lower price, they can buy more of that asset. So if you borrow 10 Bitcoins, sell them, then buy back at a lower price, you might be able to buy back 20 Bitcoins at a lower price with the money you made selling it at the price that it was at. So you buy here, you know, say you're shorting Bitcoin, you buy here, buy 10 Bitcoins here, short it, or sorry, buy Bitcoins here, sell them, buy, and make profit, not profit, but you're now holding cash, and then back down here you're gonna buy those Bitcoins back with all the cash that you're holding from selling here, and then you can buy, if you're selling at 30 and you buy back at 15, which I'm not saying it's gonna go to 15, I don't think it is, but if it did, you could buy back twice the amount of Bitcoins, and then you got to return the Bitcoins you borrowed, but you get to keep the other Bitcoins that you made back. So you doubled your Bitcoin. That's the general idea of shorting, and then you use leverage, and you can, get even more. So, this is the amount of money in the market on shorting Bitcoin right now. And as you can see, this is the daily. It has gone completely vertical today. It even went above its most recent high from just a couple weeks ago. This is scary for the price of Bitcoin right now. I don't really know what this means. I've seen a lot of theories on Twitter. God only knows, but someone out there is expecting the price of Bitcoin to go down. And once they started taking these positions, the price started going down. And the act of shorting Bitcoin is selling Bitcoin to the market. So it does in effect drive the price down. However, you and I, if we're just shorting, a few $1,000s or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's not going to affect the price of Bitcoin that much. But when all these institutions with their deep pockets short Bitcoin and massively, it does affect the price, and that is one tool that they have to manipulate the price, I believe, at least in my opinion. So either they're trying to manipulate the price, either they know something, either they're trying to manipulate retail and trying to make us short Bitcoin, tempt us to short Bitcoin so that way they can squeeze it and squeeze us. I don't know what's going on, but it's all basically just makes me uncertain. So either way, I'm expecting a massive move up or down, one or the other. But this hints at volatility. I just don't know which way. It could be upward. I could see a thesis for they're trying to make it go up, or they're trying to make us make it go up so that way they can make it go down. I don't know. My wife's alarm is going off. Her jazzy alarm. Babe, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So if you feel like trying, this might be a good place to go long. Might be. It also might be a terrible place to go long. Set your stop loss tight if you do it, but don't listen to me because I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so that's setting levels. We could set some more. Maybe here, I see a reversal right here. Yeah, you get some interaction back over here. So that's a level that the market respects. Within this area, this is such a choppy area. You could set levels, but it's just ping-ponging, up and down. I don't really see much use setting anything here. I mean, maybe this one, right in the middle. You get this interaction here. Yeah, kind of all through the middle there. But that's just resistance all throughout the middle, you know, choppy mess. But you could put that right there. I'm gonna make that lighter though, because I don't really care much about that one. Yeah, and then quickly your chart looks like a mess. So, you know, maybe let's pull some of these, scale some of these down. And sometimes when you get these levels that are just so close together, it just, in my opinion, I'm just like, what's the point of having all of them? Does it really help me? I don't know. You know, something else that you can do is you can mark, you know, which one's which as far as is it a daily, is it a weekly? That helps me a little bit, because if it's a weekly reversal, you know, it's going to be more significant than dailies. So you could, you know, come to this, click on your line, go to settings, and then you could say weekly, or say W's for weekly. And then what's the date? 18th January. Weekly 18 Jan. Reversal. And I'll just say weekly 18th January. I don't have to put reversal. So that way I know that's weekly, and I know in my mind when I see that, okay, it's more significant than a daily. So that's weekly. Let's just delete the one right below it. No, I don't want to do that, because that's where price is bouncing off of right now. So the market cares about that one. But this one down here, I don't think is really necessary right now. It's probably where price is going to bounce next if it goes down there, but I don't need it right now. I'm not going to try to catch that falling knife, so I'm not going to care about it. It'll be interesting, though, to see if price does come down and back up if it touched that line, which I can guarantee you it will. You know, we did have that weekly reversal here, but price seems to really like this one right now. It just keeps slicing right through that weekly reversal line. So I think the market, they're so close together, this line might as well represent that weekly reversal, in my opinion. It goes through the wicks. Yeah, let's get rid of this one. So, you know, this is more significant to the market right now. We've bounced right off of it. We're bouncing off of it again. We've wicked down into it multiple times. You get all the same levels off of it. Yeah, this one's more important right now. And we'll call this one. You know what? I just deleted the weekly. Yeah, it's fine. I won't I won't label them or anything right now. Let's just get some lines on here. Let's see what else. We had all of our weekly resistance up here. We'll leave that for now. I think this is good. I think this is looking pretty good. So now you can zoom into 8 and start trading if that's what you're trying to do, or just keep watching, which is really what I'm trying to do right now. I'm just trying to watch. I just make these little setups, you know, just to kind of, I'm practicing when I do this. I'm not taking trades right now. I'm going to wait. I'd like to get above this, show some signs of strength, and get back going up. Get some confirmation of the trend before I start doing anything, because I do not know what I'm doing. I'm really interested in just taking a practice trade right here, though. You know, betting $100 or something, and just to see if I can call this one, because this looks like a good setup right now. Might be that. Yeah. So there's Bitcoin. Let's pop on over to Twitter real quick and see what the peeps are saying out there in the Twitterverse. I have some tweets that I saved that I wanted to share. I'm going to change this to dark mode. Lights out. Ah, nice. Okay, let's see here. How do I look at the tweets that I've liked likes. Yeah, so a lot of Bitcoin price analysis. This is a funny meme. Yeah, I've been trying to like things so I can share with the live stream. Let's just start here. So this is an interesting chart. Basically, this is terrible quality, but this is essentially another Wyckoff schematic, a much more macro schematic that just shows the general pattern of, you know, accumulation and distribution. So you need accumulation, accumulation, distribution, accumulation, accumulation, and then this guy, you know, who tweeted this, Leverage Monkey, it's comparing this Wyckoff schematic to current Bitcoin price action, and he's saying that you know, he could very well see this pattern play out with Bitcoin, and I agree. You know, it's looking eerily similar. You know, you get these accumulations, distribution, accumulations. You know, this would, if price, you know, broke down out of where we're at right now, as I was saying a moment ago, it can go down to, you know, around 20,000, which he's got his range a little lower, but it just brings range up a little bit, and we could be range bound at 20,000 to, you know, God, that would be crazy if it really happened. We could accumulate a lot more Bitcoin. You know, range bound. How long has this been range bound? Info line. We've been here for about 50 days now, 45 days now, a month and a half. Assuming we were to break down this weekend, it'd probably take us a few days to get down to the bottom, and then we might accumulate here for, I don't know, till the fall. That would be wild. And then we'd have to get back out of it and accumulate here, you know, and then maybe then we get out of the doldrums. Whew. That's something to consider. I don't know how the 4-year cycle affects that. You know, the whole thesis of the 4-year cycle is there's a supply squeeze. It's supposed to happen. I don't know what's going to happen now. I mean, there's, with the way the institutions are playing this, we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. Yeah, but hey, you know, lower price goes, the more you and I can buy. If the institutions are going to play that game, let's play it with them. You know, don't get freaked out if price drops. They want this to go up. The institutions, they want this. This is happening right now because they know that this asset is going to skyrocket. And they want to keep it down as long as they can, because the longer they can keep it down, the more they can accumulate, and the higher price will go when it does break out of the accumulation. So this is good. This is good for us. You know, don't get mad at them. I mean, I get mad at them because they're bastards, but you know, use it to your advantage. You know, but don't freak out and sell. But be careful, God, be careful if you're using leverage, because this is tough to trade around. I'm a noob speaking, saying how tough it is to trade. Of course, it's tough for me, but I don't know what I'm doing, but I can only imagine how difficult this is compared to just normal price action of, I don't know, like Forex and stuff. This is, from what I hear, this is next level. I'm jumping right into the deep end. It's so funny to me. Anyway, yeah, let's keep looking. So yeah, you know, this could play out. You know, we could see a breakdown and accumulation at lower prices. Right. What else we got here? Bitcoin sees continued weakness into the weekend as a volatile month continues. I don't know why I like this. I didn't read this. Anyway, we'll skip it. Bitcoin currently in this area discussed in the previous tweet. Area to sustain above to generate further upward momentum and possibly a higher low. loss. Next levels are 31,500 and possibly new lows. Yeah, that's pretty much what we just said, right? 31,500. He's saying, yeah, he's saying if 31,500 is lost, then we're going down. That's what we just said. Yeah, I agree. What time frame is this? I'm just gonna say 240. I don't know. This looks like a 2 hour, 4 hour maybe. Oh no, there's the wick, I see. Might be a 2 hour time frame. Yeah. Oops. What did I do? There we go. Wait. No, this is my other chart. What the heck happened? Oh, here we are. Man, this is so much nicer. This helped. This helped streaming with you guys. I'm able to organize my thoughts and my thesis a lot better. Thank you. Even though there's no one watching, probably. Is anyone watching? Gone gardening. LOL. It's my wife. I'm here all by myself. No one's watching. Babe, are you watching? Wow, I've been streaming for 46 minutes already. That's crazy. This is fun. I like this. I like this a lot. I want to go long here. I really do. I really am thinking about it. I'm just afraid of this happening and getting stomped out. It's such a precarious place for price to be. I don't believe it in my heart that this is the bottom though. I really don't. I really think we go lower. Alright, let me show you something else. Let me show you something else that I found out. I'm going to switch over to another layout. And let's change this back to my normal template. Light mode. I prefer this. I'm able to see things a lot better on the white screen, even though it kind of hurts my eyes at night. You know, the dark mode is kind of easier on the eyes. I don't know. I should. Oh, this is my cyberpunk layout template. Standard. Let's look at standard for a second. No, I hate that. It's so ugly. It's so ugly. It's okay. So, in TradingView. Okay, first off, I'm gonna set up a log chart. Okay, log chart, and let's go to regular Bitcoin. No, let's just do a new chart layout. We'll rename this to log charts live. Log charts live stream. And let's look at Bitstamp. The BTUSD perpetual futures, that's what I look at for trading futures, which is in the case of Bitcoin on I believe all the exchanges. This is the same thing as trading Bitcoin. There's no real futures, rules, but I look at that for trading futures because the futures is this. But that price action only goes back to 2019. So if I want to look at a more long-term view, I got to look at something else. So Bitstamp has the price going all the way back to the dawn, 2011. So, all right, let's get rid of our volume. Don't want to look at that. Let's flip over to log scale, and okay, there's your price action for all of the span of Bitcoin's trading history on exchanges, more or less. I think Bitcoin's been around since like 2008 or something, but the price back then in 2011 is not really significant. It starts becoming significant in the first wave. The first wave where the 4-year cycle really started taking effect. which was, starting around 2013. So you get whoosh, whoosh, double wave in 2013, 2014, and then the first major crash, bear market, which is hilarious to me that the bear market only they call it a bear market, but it only lasted Bitcoin just moves so freaking fast. It lasted about a year, where you just trade sideways for a solid year. And then after that, you slowly start picking up speed. But slowly, this is an exponential chart. You start picking up speed, 400, 500, 600, 700. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And then you launch, and you get these impulses. Boom, boom, boom. And then we crash back down. And this crash was pretty significant, slowly dropped off and then capitulated, and then you get a bottom. This is probably really nice for all the Bitcoin folks who are trading back here, because you got this other little wave. I'm wondering if this is part of the reason why this cycle is really not super juiced up, because we have this crazy wave right here. In the middle of the bear market, there was a little bull market, come on, no one talks about this, but this is crazy. There's a 322% gain in the span of half a year, 189 days. That's a mini bull market in the middle of the quote unquote bear market. I don't know, the way that these people talk about Bitcoin, the bear market cycle, it follows these impulse cycles for sure, but it's not as pretty and cut and dry as they like to make it sound. But there are a lot of patterns that you can follow. But yeah, God, you cannot deny that's a crazy, definitely tradable event right here, for sure. Yeah, so where am I going with this? Yeah, here's your macro view of Bitcoin on the weekly scale. Now, something that I discovered I could do recently is you can go to the price scale, right click it, and invert scale. Now get a whole new perspective. This is Bitcoin, trading up, but switch your mindset and think, looking at this chart, is this price going up or is it going down right now? If you could be objective for a moment, try your best and think about it. Is Bitcoin going up or is it going down? Or is this price action going up or is it going down? Overall, yes. Overall, we're going down. For sure. This is going down overall. But in the short term, it looks like, in my opinion, it looks like a retest. It looks like it's trying to retest something. It's trying to do some sort of retest right now. So before it continues down. That's what it looks like to me. The question is, where is it testing? Is it testing that level now? Is it going to test it later? Then you can start drawing in some lines, to try to get an idea. So where I like to start when I'm looking at this log chart on the higher time frame is the first thing my eye sees every time I look at this chart is look at this beautiful, beautiful, almost perfect edge right here. You get to this chart. That is such a clear line. And look at all these wicks that touch it too. It's just, or that try to touch it at least. Those are probably parallel lines. I'll draw those in later. You can just go, look at that.
Yeah?
What? Babe?
You asked if I was watching on the live stream.
Oh, that was 20 minutes ago.
For real?
Yeah, it must be lagging.
Oh my god.
My wife just said she's watching on the live stream. Okay, so you draw this line in. And it doesn't have to be super accurate, but, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Let's zoom in a little bit. You know what, we could even go to the monthly to help us get a level in. This is the monthly chart. And let's draw it as a ray. No, we'll draw a line. Draw right here. I'd say I'd say right about there is pretty close to where we're at. You know, you could probably adjust it a little bit here. It's hard to decide. I think that this is what we're looking at. I don't think that this completely came in to touch it. We definitely broke below it in March, or above it in March. Let's go back to the weekly. Yeah, broke below it in March. Don't think we touched this area, this trend line. I think we touched a parallel version of this trend line. And yes, it's probably a wick into it there. And I think we came in and touched it here. You know, I think we broke below it, came out, and got some support off of it, and then went on the way. So there's your primary trend line for Bitcoin price action, in my opinion. Now, is price trying to touch that trend line again? Is that is that what these institutions are trying to do? Are they trying to short Bitcoin into touching this trend line? It looks like it to me. I mean, and you could just reverse the scale, and look at it and see the same thing. And you can. It just, for me, inverting it kind of helps me be objective, because it's like looking at another chart. I've looked at the Bitcoin chart so many times, for just so long now, that you tend to be a little biased. I feel like I tend to be a little biased looking at it. It's hard to be objective at this point, so I flip it over to get me another perspective. And look at this. Look at just going back even in the earlier history. You get these almost touches on these wicks. It's crazy. It just blows my mind how symmetrical these markets are, and how they follow these clear patterns so clearly. Yeah, so yeah, that's the question. Are we trying to touch this line? Maybe. I mean, look, if we were to touch it within the next couple of weeks, where are we going to go? What did we say earlier was the level of support? 20,000. Right here. Right here. I mean, that's... Oh, it lines up too good. It lines up too good. We, boom, touch that. And then we swoosh. I could really see this happening. We go touch, and then swoosh right back out. And by the end of the year, we're well into all-time highs. Oops. Maybe a little longer. Whatever. We can't really change that. Yeah. I mean, just looking at the way this goes, I could see that happening for sure. And then this is just a new 4-year cycle. It doesn't have to look like it did in the past. There's no rule that says it has to look exactly like it did in the past. It's rhyming. It's similar enough, but everyone had these targets of September 19th. Super specific targets, and like everyone thought they had it dialed in, and I think that was the downfall. It's like all these YouTubers and crypto Twitter people were just broadcasting exactly where it went, and they came to a consensus of where it was going to go. And the institutions took advantage of that. I think they saw that happening and were like, these idiots think they know exactly where price is going to go. Like, let's lead them on and then pull the rug out from under them. And that's what they're doing right now. And they're buying it all up. And yeah, price is still going to go higher, but at this point, no one knows when. And, I think the 4-year cycle is... The 4-year cycle's not broken. You're going to get waves, I think, maybe again in 4 years we'll probably get another wave because of the halving event, which is an important event for the supply of Bitcoin that has to have an effect. As far as I understand markets and economics, which is very little, but it's intuitively makes sense that you're going to have a supply squeeze, and that's going to drive the price up. However, I don't think there's any reason why the bull market squeeze 4-year cycle has to look like a singular wave every single time. Especially now that institutions are trading this, they're going to manipulate the crap out of it. And we just have to accept that. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think it's going to mean Bitcoin price goes higher. You know, I think they're going to make it go higher, but in order to make it go higher, they're going to drive it lower first. So maybe we'll go higher than we ever can imagine. Maybe by mid next year we're looking at 400,000 or 500,000. We could be anywhere in this range. Let's draw it in. We could be anywhere. I don't know Trading View well enough yet. Rectangle. I could see us anywhere in this range. Somewhere around here, within time frame of April, September. April next year. Within the next year and a half, 2 years, anywhere in this range, I think is very likely. So just be patient, I mean, look at the upper end of this range I drew in. That's 800,000. I mean, maybe that's a little aggressive, but that's the beauty of logarithmic charts or that the fact that Bitcoin follows a logarithmic scale. It's exponential. The price just let's flip it back over. The price just absolutely melts your face off when it does go for a big run. So yeah, let's see if we retest this primary trend line here. I think it coincides perfectly with our 20,000 price level. It looks like it's weak. It just looks so weak. It looks like it wants some massive support, and this trend line is going to give it some massive support. It's just no doubt in my mind. I mean, last time we tested it, and look, we broke below it, held it for a little bit. I mean, a few months, April to September, and then it just launched. And I think if we come back in for a retest, we're gonna launch again, and we're gonna launch here. This is the target. Test, launch, and I think it's gonna be epic. So I'm close with that. If anyone actually watches this, thank you. Please like and subscribe, and